This video almost stayed hidden. Most people are not ready for it. If someone pulls away, your first thought is usually wrong, and that mistake can trap you for years. This is not about games. It is about stress. When love turns uncertain, your mind stops seeing clearly. And once you see this pattern, you cannot unsee it. Distance starts quietly. Long before silence, something shifts. The words may stay sweet, but the warmth gets thinner. You feel the change before you can explain it. Like when their laugh sounds polite, not close. But here's the truth. Confusion is your first warning. Most people wait for proof. Your body notices first. That is why your stomach tightens over tiny things. A delayed reply looks small, yet it hits hard. Pay attention to this. Your mind wants one clean reason. Real disconnection usually arrives in fragments. Less curiosity, less effort, less emotional weight. Nothing looks dramatic, so you keep excusing it. You say they are busy. You say you are overthinking. But deep down, you start shrinking to stay safe. This is where it gets interesting. You become hyper-alert. You reread texts like crime scene clues. One cold sentence can ruin your whole evening. One warm sentence can restore your hope. Like watching a door open an inch, then slam. And that back and forth is where the trap begins. Sometimes people pull away because closeness scares them, not because they feel nothing, because they feel too much. Intimacy can wake old fears they never healed. Love reaches places logic cannot protect. But here's the truth. People fear losing control. Real connection exposes needs, wounds, and weak spots. That exposure can feel dangerous to an unready heart. So they step back to feel powerful again. You read that step back as rejection. They may feel it as emotional survival. Pay attention to this. Fear does not always look afraid. Sometimes it looks calm, distant, even rude. That is why mixed signals feel so cruel. The care was real. The retreat is real too. Imagine someone holding your hand, then freezing mid-step. You would wonder what you did wrong. This is where it gets interesting. Their past enters the room. Old betrayal teaches people to expect pain too early. So they leave emotionally before they get left physically. And you get blamed by a wound you never caused. When they pull back, your instinct is to chase. You call it fighting for love. Your nervous system calls it panic. The more uncertain it feels, the more urgent they seem. Distance turns them into a moving target in your mind. But here's the truth. Chasing rarely creates safety. It usually teaches the other person that you will overfunction. So they do less, you do more. And the balance breaks in slow motion. Pay attention to this. Effort can become begging fast. You start explaining things they never asked to understand. You send paragraphs to someone giving one-word replies. You try to solve a problem they are feeding, like running after a train already leaving the station. The speed makes you feel alive, not respected. This is where it gets painful. You stop hearing yourself. Your dignity gets quieter every time panic gets louder. You promise to stay calm, then double text at midnight. You swear you are done, then answer in seconds. And each small surrender teaches your brain one lie. that love must be earned through emotional exhaustion. Inconsistent affection is one of the strongest emotional drugs, not because it feels good, because it feels unfinished. Your brain gets hooked on maybe, not yes. Uncertainty keeps the reward system wide awake. But here's the truth. Calm love does not need decoding. Chaos feels intense because your body stays activated. Activated does not mean connected. It means alarmed. That is why toxic bonds can feel magnetic. Pay attention to this. Relief is not the same as peace. When they finally text back, you do not feel secure. You feel rescued for a moment from panic. Then the cycle resets and starts again. Like finally breathing after holding your breath underwater. The breath feels amazing. The drowning is still real. This is where it gets interesting. Your standards quietly move. You start thanking people for basic respect. You celebrate crumbs because starvation makes crumbs look huge. A late-night miss you message feels like a promise, but morning silence turns it back into smoke, and your heart keeps paying for borrowed hope. When people grow cold, many of us blame ourselves first. Your mind would rather feel faulty than powerless. Because if it is your fault, you can fix it. Powerlessness feels harder to accept than pain. But here's the truth. Not every loss is your lesson. Sometimes the lesson is simply seeing what is there. Their inconsistency is not proof you were too much. It may be proof they were not able. Pay attention to this. Self-blame sounds strangely noble. It feels honest. It feels mature. It feels responsible. But often it is just fear wearing good manners. You take the full weight, so reality stays softer. Like saying, if I were easier, they would stay. That sentence has broken a lot of hearts. This is where it gets painful. You edit yourself. You talk less, ask less, need less. You become low maintenance, so you will not be left. But love that needs your silence is not safe love. If peace only comes after you disappear, it is not peace. It is self-abandonment dressed like maturity. Healthy love can feel unfamiliar when chaos raised you. It may even feel boring at first. Not because it lacks depth, because it lacks danger. And your body may confuse danger with passion. But here's the truth. Safety is not the enemy of chemistry. Safety is what lets chemistry last without damage. In secure love, you do not perform for closeness. You do not guess where you stand each night. Pay attention to this. Calm can feel suspicious. You may wait for the switch, the silence, the drop. But it does not come, and that feels strange. Your body keeps searching for a fire that is not there. Like entering a quiet house after years of sirens. The silence feels eerie before it feels restful. This is where healing begins. You learn new signals. Consistency becomes attractive. Honesty becomes exciting. Effort stops feeling like a rare event. And you stop calling emotional confusion a spark. Real love still challenges you. It just does not destabilize you. It grows your nervous system instead of draining it. The clearest moment comes when you stop chasing. Not because they panic, because you finally see. Distance looks different when you are not begging against it. Their effort becomes visible, or its absence does. But here's the truth. Silence answers too. No response is still a response from an adult. Delayed care is not the same as real care. Potential is not commitment in disguise. Pay attention to this. Closure is often behavior, not words. You may never get the perfect explanation, but patterns explain people better than promises do. Repeated confusion is already a message. Like standing at a door that only opens from your side. At some point, love becomes you walking away from the door. This is where it gets powerful. Your energy returns. You sleep better. You breathe deeper. Food tastes normal again. The person you were before panic starts coming back. And that return is more romantic than begging ever was. You do not heal by winning them back. You heal by refusing to leave yourself again. So if this hit hard, good. Truth often does. The goal was never to make you colder. It was to help you stop confusing pain with love. If this gave words to your story, stay with this channel. Because the moment you see the pattern, you start getting free.